360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live, also on Amazon Fire TV, and to Twitch. Also, Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna Guinois, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. We are excited, Jim. We are on day 2 of the best things in life, aren't things?
Isn't that the truth? And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue in the book of The 7 Levels of Truth by Bill Heinrich. And Donna and I, we've read the book, we've studied the book, but we felt to do it justice and to give our best service to you, we will read to share with you the information in this book for 2 reasons. Number one, if you decide to go on Amazon and buy the book, we don't get anything for it, okay? Because Bill is a personal friend of ours.
Right.
Number 2, you will also have a good idea of what you're getting. You won't be buying a pig in a poke. And that's the reason why, because the way he words this stuff, some of the information, my goodness gracious, it just floors me.
Right.
You know, I'm going to flip back here a couple of pages if I may. And the day we die, everything we own go to someone else, but everything we are will stay with us forever. Bill worked very closely with Bob Proctor, and that's Bob's quote, but he wanted to share that. And I want to get another good point out of here, and you may want to do too before we get started here. You will always have many disruptions happening in your life. It is your response to them and how they affect you emotionally that determines your ability to remain present.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. And in my world, my life, Jim, that is key.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we are constantly in a state of being super mad when something happens and, oh my gosh, look at this, and you get yourself worked up, guess what? You are so worked up with the wrong energy, the blocking energy, that you cannot see where the solution is. Or even better yet, just say, oh my gosh, life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. Next.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, Donna, that's why I do not watch any of the news or anything like that, because it does not serve me.
Right.
And I refuse to fall prey to them wanting to change my way of thinking to their way of thinking, because their way of thinking is actually stinking up my life. And it doesn't serve me, so I don't need it.
Right.
So I'll let it go, you know?
Right.
And I laugh about it sometimes. Me and my wife are joking about this, you know, like years ago, we heard it on the news all the time. You walk outside, a mosquito would bite you. What would go through your mind?
Oh my gosh.
West Nile virus. What happened to West Nile virus? You don't hear anything about it, you know?
I mean, it's still there, but it's not huge.
Right.
It's not as big a sensation as obviously it was back then.
Oh yeah, because they go from they're on an emotional roller coaster.
Yep.
And they want to get you on that emotional roller coaster, and they want to get you all worked up over things and this and that, so they can lead you from where you are to where they want you to be.
In a state of constant panic and disruption.
Yes, and don't fall prey to that because it does not serve you, ladies and gentlemen. To rob you of your health. You know, we don't discuss anything religious or political here on the station here because it's not important. However you feel about that, that's your own personal belief.
And that's what's important, how
Yeah.
you feel about it.
Yeah. Now, does it serve you?
Right.
Does it does it enhance your life to give you love and abundance and happiness? And Donna, you were going to start with that one unknown quote. Oh, I love this quote. I'm going to let you read it because I'm just going to, you know,
The unknown author.
uh-huh.
Fear knocked on the door and love answered, but no one was there.
See, like Bill talks about in this book here, and I've heard him many times on the radio station because Bill and I, we host the Your Future is Now on the Toginet radio station. And Bill says there's only two emotions in life. There's love and there's fear.
Right.
Fear is all physical. You know, the survival. We're born into a world of survival. And for many, many years, I always thought of being a body with a soul. And Bill had, through his book and through being around him for all these years, he has taught me, no, you are a soul
With a
a body.
Right.
Different mindset there, different elevation in the thinking process.
Correct.
And yeah, because once you release all fear and you push it out, love will come in automatically.
Yep.
It's like a vacuum, just sucks right in because it cannot coexist.
Right.
They cannot coexist at all. And you may think
and it just depends on which one you feed.
Oh yeah, it's like the old cute joke.
Proverb.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
kind of
about
like the old
grandpa talking to his grandson.
Yeah,
And he says, you know, you're going to have wolves in your life, and some wolves will be angry and snapping and snarling, and some will be really nice and helpful.
Good.
And he says, well, Grandpa, how do I know which one that lives inside me? And his grandpa looked at him and he said, it depends on which one you feed, son.
There you go. There you go. And that's so true, isn't it?
Right. And so, you know, that's what I'm saying. I don't sweat the small stuff. Right. I used to. Holy cow. I was always in a, you know, oh my gosh, this and oh my gosh, this and there's this and there's this. Guess what? I look forward in thinking now and say, is this going to matter tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, 6 months, a year? And you know what? When you look at things that pop up in our life, and they will every single day, man, that makes it easy to sort of, you know, sift the sand, right? And get that clarity.
Just like one of our business associates that works with us here in behind the scenes, we're doing some things with Marty Haggard, Mr. Emerson Brantley. And Emerson taught me years ago, he's a marketing guy, okay? And this is applicable to what Donna's saying too. Use two words to ask yourself a question. If you make a proclamation about your business or your product or something like that.
Or your life.
Yeah, so what? So what value will that be to somebody else? And like Donna was saying there, something that gets you upset and all that. So what's important about that? So what's going to change in your life? How's it going to be a blessing to you in your life? Ask those questions. So what? Well, you know, and it's very applicable. It really is. And it just cracks me up. And Donna, you and I have a lot to be thankful for.
Oh my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Every day.
I'm not going to get into the discussion that Donna and I had. Was it Friday night?
Yes.
With the El Presidente of E360 TV. But, you know, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about you. We're one of the more,
viewed.
I guess, viewed shows on E360 TV. That humbled us. And then the day before that, we got humbled again because in working with on a project coming up with Marty and Emerson and all. Once we got out of the way, this is key. We were struggling with an issue. How are we going to? I don't know. You know, we're talking about this, and we run into a
dead
block
end
wall.
after dead end.
We were running block walls, and then Emerson asked a question, and we all kind of got out of the way. And that's what you do. You get out of the way of the energy.
Right.
and boom, all of a sudden that problem is solved.
Right.
I mean, when I say solved, I'm talking about 100% solved.
Yep.
It's kind of like, wow. And it was so simple,
Yeah.
but we were
Exactly.
making it complicated. That's my
Right.
point.
We were tripping ourselves up.
Yep. And so many times when we're in the way of our own, we block our own energy. Donna,
Man,
you
do we
talk a lot about a person, place, or thing that, blocks your energy. We can be our own blocker.
absolutely, because we're a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it doesn't always have to be somebody else. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
our own self.
Yeah.
And
Go look in the
again,
mirror.
right, it's how we respond. And that's the one thing I've learned over the last many, many, many years, folks.
Yeah.
How am I responding to a problem? And is it making it worse? Or am I finding a solution to it? Big
Especially when
difference.
especially when the person with the problem is bringing it to you to make it your problem. So
Right.
what? Why is that your problem?
So why are you biting into a sandwich that you don't like?
That's right. That's right. That's right. I tell you.
I don't eat liverwurst sandwiches, so it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like that old song from 1969, Sly and the Family Sly and the Family Stone. There we go. Everyday people. The lyrics were different strokes for different folks,
Yeah.
and that's something I can relate to and understand. But exactly what Donna's talking about, you do not want to get involved in someone else's drama.
Hmm.
Because there's one thing that you hear a lot about, people say, I'm tired of the drama.
Right.
Well, let it go. Love them enough to let it go and focus on how you can enjoy the love and abundance of life. That's the key.
Absolutely.
And this book here is just fantastic. And Bill, I'm going to read this sentence if I may, Donna. It says,
Absolutely.
it is the non-physical where all our power resides. Ooh. We like to think we're the captain of our souls. We're in charge. We're the great I am. We're the big three, me, myself, and I.
Right.
I thought like that for many years because I actually told people when I started my manufacturing business, when I started the big three, me, myself, and I. I'd get me up, I'd go to work, and I'd do all these things. I mean, I did. I worked on weekend. I worked at nights. I worked on weekends and everything. And I got caught up into that. I'm not my ego, but the fact of it is I was proud of it. The big three, me, myself, and I, I'm doing this. And oh my goodness, I look back now after, getting enlightened and being wiser now, thanks to Bill and others. You wouldn't hear me say that again for all the tea in China.
Right.
I mean, it's not who I am. And right before the show, Donna, we were talking about egos, and we were talking about everybody involved in our team, from E360 TV to Emerson to everybody we're working with. How many of us have an ego problem?
None. Zero.
And that is amazing. And that's what happens when the energy leads you from where you are to where you want to be.
Right.
Just as you can easily see, that has nothing to do with me, myself, and I. Because you'll probably be the moron with the ego that shows up. And you'll short out everybody else's energy. You really will, because
Absolutely.
Don, I'd like for you to share just a little bit about how like minds and like people who are in sync in the same energy, how they just migrate together.
Oh, well, that's easy. We've talked about that on the show several times, many times, how, the perfect example, Jim, and I think we talked about it the other day, but it bears repeating.
Mm-hmm.
We actually, Jim and I met here in Phoenix at an event that I hosted.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an event that, although the event was good, but the environment around it was quite toxic.
Yeah.
Right. So we met and, we exchanged pleasantries and off we went. And then boom, we got pulled back together again. Mm-hmm. And we talked a little bit more and we just kind of struck up a friendship. And again, it was the energy. Mm-hmm. And then next thing I know, Jim's calling me and telling me that he's got Marty Haggard on his radio show. And of course, I scream like, ah, I love Merle. And that's literally how the energy pulled.
That's right.
We were in a toxic environment, but our energy, Jim and I's energy, is not toxic. And that pulled through the negative energy.
Well, we both headed for the light, but when she went off like, oh, I love Merle Haggard and this and that, and I felt the vibration of her energy over the phone. I'm in Texas. She's out there in Phoenix, Arizona, out there in that Phoenix area. And I thought, hey, I need this energy on the radio show with Marty. And I invited her to be on as a co-host. And then after the show was over, we visited with Marty. He was no hurry to leave. And this is back in July of 2020, in the middle of the, COVID thing. We're still in the middle of it, but that's when it was like a heavy fog in our life. And Donna's so shy. We'd been off about 30 seconds. And then, Marty, oh, yeah, Donna, would you like to be on my radio show at Phoenix? Oh, yeah, I sure would, Donna. She's okay. And since Jim invited me to be his co-host, I'll invite him to be my co-host. So together, ladies and gentlemen, from the first show to the second show, we just kept co-hosting along,
And here we are, still doing it.
Yep. But it goes to show you that we did not look for this to happen.
No.
We knew what we wanted, but we both got out of the way and followed the energy.
Right.
Otherwise, if you get yourself involved in the decision-making process and trying to push a chain uphill, and I'm going to take this by the bull by the horns, and I'm going to make this thing work.
Right.
That's when you're in the way of the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because one time I made a comment to Bill on the radio show. I said, Bill, I made a decision the other day, and Bill says, Jim, please do yourself a favor. Never make another decision.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking, he's probably going to tell me, thinking it's not good for you, but he didn't. He says, just make options instead. Because once you make a decision, you've built a mental box, and everything that you put inside that decision
has to fit.
It's got to fit. And that just blinds you. It shorts out your energy and everything. When you make options, then you just keep floating. Okay, I'm going to make an adjustment here, make an adjustment there.
Right. And that's the difference. When you make a decision, if something isn't working based on what you thought, then you feel like a failure because it didn't fit in that box.
That's
but
right.
When you make an option, okay, this is my option. I'm going to try this and see where it takes me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it didn't quite pan out the way I wanted it to, so let me veer off this way. Mm-hmm. Then that works. Guess what? Mm-hmm. You are no longer in that box of failure mode, which blocks your energy.
Yeah. And when you think about us, and I hate to keep talking about us, but it's a good example, if I can go into that, because we started this original show on Zoom and Facebook Live, and we did it during the pandemic back in March of 2020. And we just did it for one reason, to bring speakers on to share encouraging and positive messages during the dark days of doom and gloom. And then it migrated to the point to where we got invited to join E360 TV. We didn't go to them and ring their doorbell or send an email or anything like that. And by the time that I got interviewed or got on the phone with Aaron Hymas, he already knew who I was and what I was about. And it wasn't, a thing of, it wasn't no sales pitches, anything like that. It was talking about vision.
Right.
And all of the things that he shared with me in vision, he's going to work towards this. We're going to, let things fall into place as they go. I think that's how he said it, which means he's following the energy. I can't share the information we shared with me and Donna Friday night, but after that meeting with him, we spent a good hour on the phone Friday night. That's how good it was. It was GOOD good.
Right. It was amazing. Yeah. And again, it's about the energy.
Yes.
It is about the energy. Yes. And, I can speak for Jim and myself, our team here at our, little company here. We are so blessed to be able to do what we do
Yes.
every single day.
Yes. Now
And
let's
it's
reach. Go ahead,
because
Donna.
of, well, but it's because of, it's honestly, it's because of, yes, the energy, but it's because we are honored to be the vehicle
Mhm.
to bring the information to our viewers.
Mhm. We certainly are, Donna. And Donna, that is your website. And I'm going to put up your email address here because we know a lot of people out there are hurting, you're struggling, you're still trying to figure out what you're going to do, where your roadblocks are, what's holding you back. That is the hardest thing sometimes for a person by themselves to figure out, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
is.
I've been down that street, and that's about as much fun as trying to trim your toenails with a chainsaw. Okay. But I mean, you could get in touch with Donna, and she will give you a complimentary 30-minute presentation of not a presentation, but she'll talk with you for 30 minutes. Is what I'm trying
Right.
to say in country English. And Donna, you talk about how to isolate what the three things are that one of three things. It could be two or three, or maybe all three. But what are the three things that can
That
shortchange someone's energy?
a person, a place, or a thing.
Hmm. And I think
That
I've
it
shared on a previous show that there was one place that every time I went there,
got the
uh,
heebie-jeebies.
yeah, it was not pleasant. It was one of those places where when you leave, thank God I'm out of there.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
and I don't want to say anything more about the place, but I mean, it's not on my vacation list.
Right. Yeah, it usually almost always comes down to a person, place, or thing,
Hmm.
and or a combination thereof.
Yeah.
And sometimes, folks, we are so close to the forest we can't see the tree.
Hmm.
We can't make out the leaves, so we don't know which direction to turn.
Hmm.
And that's where I come into play, and I just help guide you
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
And the gentleman that we're reading the book here, Mr. Bill Heinrich, the 7 Levels of Truth.
Put a
That's
picture.
Mr. Bill's picture in the back there. Yeah, we got him.
Got him
Yeah,
front and back.
Bill will also give you a free 30-minute consultation on where your energy is getting shortchanged at. And his website is True Life Purpose Now.
Find
4
that,
words.
Jim.
True, yeah, because I don't have my glasses on. I got to act my age. True Life Purpose Now. And let
There
me
we go.
humbly say, Donna and I, neither one of us or either one of us will actually we will not endorse anybody that will use and abuse you.
Absolutely.
So if Bill gives you a complimentary 30-minute consultation, that's exactly what it is.
Yep.
And the only way you're going to get more out of Bill or hear more from Bill is to email him or ask him.
Right.
He's too busy.
And honestly, same goes with me. I won't
Yes.
chase you.
That's right.
It's just not who I am.
Mhm. She just chases me. Hey, Jim, what you doing here? Hey, Jim, did this get done? Hey, Jim, did that get done? We have a lot of fun together.
We do. So I love where we're at in this chapter of Bill's book.
Okay.
Our ability to transmit energy that will create the best solution for everyone in any situation is real power. What is happening in the physical isn't as important as how we respond to it energetically.
The key thing that I picked up there as I was just concentrating on your words was that it wasn't about self, it was about everyone.
Right.
Of how that energy can vibrate. And the reason why you want that energy to vibrate to others as being a blessing to them is because it creates more energy. And it will draw you in with it.
Right.
It's a win-win situation. And when you see that, I hope each and every one of you is listening. I hope and pray that you get a chance to experience that if you haven't. Oh my goodness gracious. That's why we're going on and on and on so much about how positive energy is and how it works in your life, because we're living it. We're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And things are coming to us. Because Donna knows that I'm not smart enough to figure out all this stuff, you know.
Jim, you are so silly.
I tease her and make sure, you know, I keep her awake because then I want her to fall asleep when I'm talking. But really, I mean, we do hope and pray that you can experience what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Because number one
Because you
is,
deserve it.
yes,
You're entitled to it.
amen. Number one, it's very, very sweet. And number two, it will never grow old. I give you my word on that.
Mhm. Mhm. You know, and energy begets energy, whether it's,
Mhm.
again, whether it's the good energy or the bad energy, right?
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
So what we ask for and we give ourselves permission for is really what we get.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of like what Earl Nightingale talks about. Our minds are like it's like the soul of the earth. We can plant corn on the earth and it'll grow it, or we can plant a poison like nightshade and it will grow that. Same is true with our minds and in our energy.
Right.
If we send out negative vibes, that's all we're going to attract is negative vibes.
Yep.
And a classic example, and we've all known ladies like this, a lady that will pick a loser in life, and something there, she seems to keep attracting the losers. So there's some type of a negative vibe she's putting off that attracts these people. And if she's got a right type of positive energy that's flowing out of her, she will repel these losers.
Right.
Because my goodness, a poor lady needs a loser about as bad as a hound dog needs a case of the fleas.
Right.
I mean, so many guys nowadays, I mean, guys, I'm going to talk to you for a minute, especially some of you young bucks out there. I don't understand you. And I don't want to understand you. Because when I was growing up, I mean, I graduated from high school in 67, and I was so intelligent, I was supposed to graduate in 66, but I spent an extra year in eighth grade because I really enjoyed it. I was out sick most of the time, flunked it, to be honest with you. But my point being, I was ready to get out on my own, and I wanted to be on my own, and I wanted to be, you know, forgive the expression, but I wanted to be a man.
Right. All grown up.
Yeah, and a man treats a lady in public like a princess and a sweetheart at home. But a lot of you young guys out there, what are you thinking? Sure, you want a girlfriend or a woman or a sweetie or a honey bunny or whatever you want to call her at night, but during the day, the next morning from that moment on, you want her to treat you like she's your mama, feed you, clothe you, and help pay your bills. What's wrong with your head? If that offends you, there's a red X up there. You know, have a nice day. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, I don't know why I felt like saying that, but it's just, guys out there, you need to wake up. You really do. Your manhood should be a blessing to you. Because every lady wants to look up to the man she loves. That's a fact. And if you're a loser and you don't know how to manage your beer, your paycheck was not made for you to go down to the bar and drink beer, okay? Your paycheck was made to take it home and pay some bills. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox there. I won't charge you guys any extra for that. You know.
He's sweet that way. So the next part of this that is so amazing, Bill says we live our lives based on our internal beliefs, which are supported by the stories we have buried deep inside, some of which we never care to visit again.
I've heard Bill talk about them stories. He says most of the time we're on the defense trying to defend our stories.
Right? And he goes on to say these stories were developed to protect us. And when we start unraveling the stories, we can easily see that they don't support us any longer.
Right.
So each time you're triggered, dig a little deeper and gain more awareness. You will then notice how the negative energy from your stories start to diminish and more solutions start to appear.
Now you see why we wanted to share the
Right.
verbiage in this book with you, because we couldn't say it any better than Bill.
Oh, no.
There's no
This
way.
is so powerful.
Yeah. And we wanted to give you guys a good taste of what is in this book in the event that you decide to buy it and you decide you need it. Or you may want to give it as a gift to someone.
Right.
But it's, oh, just like what you read right there. How powerful was that to you? Did that reach out and grab you?
Right. It does me every time I read it.
There are some things in this book, when I read it, I got to read it again because it's that deep.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I'm going like, I can't tell you how many times I go like, wow, because it shakes up something in my life to say, hey, get rid of that garbage.
Right.
Forget about that. Because our minds are so easily formed from the negative and physical
fear.
world. Yeah.
From fear.
I mean, it is founded in fear. It's got deep roots in fear. And you start ripping that out. You got to be honest with yourself. Wouldn't you say so, Donna?
Absolutely. When you get rid of the things that no longer serve you, and I'm big into that.
Yeah.
Whether it's a business partner, it's friends, it's even family. If they no longer serve you and are not within your integrity circle, you know what? That is a huge step to freeing yourself and going where you are being supported by positive energy.
I love this next starting a new paragraph here. What's your potential? We normally think of, something in the physical world like an education or degree or something like that. And I love the old saying that, I've actually said it myself because, let's face it, we're human parrots. We repeat things we hear.
Mm-hmm.
We're influenced by others. We all are. No one's immune to it. And how many times have I said and have had said to me, go to school, get a good education, get yourself a good job, and be set for life.
Right.
Name one place on planet Earth where that boat will float. That's not the way the world is anymore. And what's amazing about Bill is that he says here, your potential resides in the non-physical world. Wow, everybody wants to reach their potential.
Right.
Well, you can't do it in the physical world because everything physical has what? Limitations.
Limitations. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, go on to read the next part because it's so incredibly powerful.
Okay. I'm just going to say your instead of our. Your true potential sits right on the other side of your challenges, your blocks, and your life lessons. I'm going to read that again. Your true potential, ladies and gentlemen, sits right on the other side of your challenges, your blocks, and your life's lessons. My goodness, Donna, that's one of the things that you specialize in is helping people to tear down those blocks and learn from those life lessons, isn't it?
Right.
Oh,
because that's where we're stuck and we can't find our potential and the right energy until we're unstuck.
Yeah, because we're spinning our wheels in the mud. You can't get anywhere.
We're just getting buried deeper.
Oh, yeah. And I've been there like everybody else, or most people have.
I have. I have.
Mm-hmm. And in my ignorance, I've been so dumb, I didn't know at the time, but I was bragging about it. And but see, the reason I admit that is because if you're honest with yourself, that is the key. Now listen up, folks. That is the key to allow you to love yourself and forgive yourself. Because I make mistakes every day. Every time I'm on the TV program, I'll probably say something I shouldn't say. That's okay. I'm going to love myself and forgive myself. But I also know that in energy, the way it flows, a thought may come into my mind where someone out there may need to hear that thought.
Absolutely.
So that means if you get an opportunity to see me in public, that means you cannot throw tangerines at me, okay? For something I said to you. I'm trying to get her to snort, but I can't. She's snortless today.
He has to catch me off guard.
Yeah. But you can see we're in the back of our minds, we had a lot of joy and jubilee because we're so happy about what's going on in our life. Because Don and I, not to sound corny or anything like it, but we've worked hard, and you put on, well, we together we put on 6 live shows a week.
Right.
And that is when I tell people who are in the industry, a lot of people, yeah, my show's on Wednesday night. When's yours? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 3 p.m. weekdays.
Right.
You look at them like, wow, how do you do that? Well, we turn the lights on. I turn the mic on. Say, hey, everybody, welcome to the show. But really, it's always about the message and never the messenger. If you got good content, you owe it to people to be able to share that with them. Therefore, in your gifts and your talents, whatever your gifts are, and we covered that last week, whatever your gifts and talents are, you have a responsibility to share that with others to enhance their life. That's when true joy and jubilee comes. That's when the energy starts rushing in on you. And that's when, little hinges that you're looking at a wall, and then all of a sudden these little hinges will open these big doors that you thought was a wall.
Right.
That's exactly what happens. That may be a poor way of explaining it, but it's accurate, isn't it, Donna? Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees.
It is accurate. It absolutely is.
And I got caught up into that, and I got blocked off here. I stopped off here. Oh, Bill talks about, let me read this sentence again so I can bring us back up to speed. Your potential resides in the non-physical world, as we covered. Your true potential sits right on the other side of all your challenges, your blocks, and your life's lessons. And listen to this. It's all about the inner game. What's going on inside. Mm-hmm. When we start to unravel all of the stories inside of us, we will notice a significant difference in how we feel about our physical results. This is our access to our authentic self-expression, looking at life from a physical and a non-physical perspective. The physical is everything physical in our life, anything that is outside our skin. When we maintain an outlook from the non-physical, our feelings, our heart, our energy, and we're allowing us to access our true power and flow through our authentic self-expression. That's the real you coming alive.
Absolutely.
Think of yourself being like a seed that's planted in the ground. The seed is all physical, but when the seed releases the product, what comes up is the plant. Right. That's what you want to do. You want to release the real you so you can rise up above the dirt and shine. Because you don't see the seed in the ground. It's buried.
Right.
If you get stuck in the physical, you're buried in the ground as far as in the darkness, and you're being enslaved. And goodness, Donna, I tell you, reading this book here, it's hard to put down.
It really is. You just kind of keep going and keep going. And, last week when we had Bill on our show, I said, there are times I'll pick up the book and I won't read it from the beginning to the end. Not that I haven't, but sometimes I just pick up the book and I open it up, literally open up to a page. And I start reading there because you know what? It's at that moment in time that I need to go back and reread that for whatever's going on in my life.
It's amazing how that works. And it's not magic, but it's all energy. And it just reminded me when reading about the inner game there and what you said there. On Friday, Bill Heinrich's going to be with us again.
Yes.
So we've shared some of his written word with you this week. And you're going to be hearing the real guy there, but we're going to play point and shoot.
Yes.
You remember that, Donna?
I do.
We're going to just go right through the book like this. Let me get me over here. Just flip through there and stop. Okay. Close your eyes, point to a paragraph, and okay. I knew I could have lived a life up. I knew I couldn't live a life up to the standards and was demanding by my parents and the Catholic Church. That's what Bill is talking about there. But that's what we're going to do, and we're going to play that game on Friday, and I'm looking forward to that.
I am too.
Oh.
Because he's going to go into a deeper explanation of the area that each of us pick.
Yeah. And me and Donna will be listening to him the same way you folks will, because every time Bill talks, we know it's time to hush and listen.
Mm-hmm.
This is 25 years of the man's life. He walked away from alcohol. He walked away from his life. The only thing he took with him was his name.
Yep.
That's all that he had. He was lost. He was struggling. He says, when I was 30, I was a millionaire. When I was 31, I was broke. When I was 32, I was a millionaire again. When I was 33, I was broke. I thought, wow, and I learned an important lesson in life when it comes to making your first million. They always say making the second million is easy, so I gave up on the first one.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness! And when I did that, I lost my place here. But going back to chapter 6 here, the best things in life aren't things. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, that's where we left off. Go ahead, Donna.
The last one. There are simple guidelines to follow, which will allow you to gain more awareness of how to support your energy. They indicate whether or not your focus is in the physical or the non-physical. You will quickly understand the difference between these perspectives as you apply these simple guidelines. And you will notice that none of the examples define what is happening in the physical, only how you perceive the events in your life.
Yeah. Think about that. When you're reading that paragraph, I'm going to read that first paragraph again, if I may, first couple of sentences. There are simple guidelines to follow, which will allow you to gain more awareness of how to support your energy. That's the answer that you're looking for. That's the key that unlocks the lock. And when Donna read that, I'm going like, wow, I'm going to read that again because that is so powerful out there, because thinking about how to support your energy, because, hey, Donna, everybody, like in your life and my life, we all want more of life, abundance, love, energy.
Right.
And none of it has anything to do with the physical.
No.
I mean, if you're worried about your looks, take a look at me and don't worry about it anymore. And you could take that one way or the other. But my point being is that getting caught up in the physical, think about that. How many people that and maybe even you, we all to some degree have been caught up in the physical. We worry about this, we worry about that. And one of the best explanations that we can look at is the fact that 5 years ago, Donna, were you worried about something 5 years ago?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you tell me what it was?
Nope.
Same here. And same with you folks out there, So why do we,
why do we carry it with us?
Yeah. Why do we let that rob us? Yeah. It drains our energy. Mm-hmm. Worry and positive energy can't coexist. It's like trying to drink from a muddied spring. It's not going to taste good. You can't drink from a muddied spring.
No, not without getting some dirt in your mouth.
Oh, yeah. And you don't know what else is in there that made it dirty either. But my point being is that, you really got to, let go of all the things that worry you. And let's start in that next section there, because this is important.
Absolutely.
Oh. Take it away, girl.
Okay. The place to begin is with love. The place to begin is with fear and love.
Yeah.
Fear is the most common feeling known because it is the cornerstone of a survival based lifestyle.
Hmm.
Fear is a good thing. It tells us when we need to make conscious choices from the heart. When we respond to fear from our head, our ego wants to protect us. Based on our past experiences and our internal belief system,
Mhm.
fear will generate a negative response to any situation.
Let's stop
Whoa.
right there. Because, he talks about the place to begin with is fear and love, because you got to recognize the two powers. They're bumping heads each other. This
Right.
is the good wolf, this is the bad wolf. Bad wolf, if the bad wolf is fear, the good wolf is love. And fear is the most common feeling known because it's the cornerstone of a survival based lifestyle. We're born into a world of survival, into the
Right.
physical. And years ago, when a baby was born, they'd hold the baby up by the heels and smack it on its little butt to get it, hot,
Breathing.
crying and breathing and all that. And my dad had a way of describing this one guy. He says, "Well, the only thing that I can say about him is that when he got born, held up by the heels and smacked on his little butt, he never quite got over that, you know." And I can understand that because some people don't love themselves enough to forgive themselves of their mistakes
Right.
or their shortcomings. And they take it out on others to make themselves feel good about themselves. And that just dominoes anything that you spew out. If it's not love, well, everything we spew out, it's going to domino. So you want to focus on love to have good results, to attract good energy, the positive energy, and not all of the other negative stuff in life. Because I think everybody's got their fair share of negative things in their life going on.
Absolutely.
Like what Bill says, fear is a good thing. It tells us when we need to make conscious choices from our heart. He talks a lot about our heart because our head can get us in trouble.
Absolutely.
Because our head's got, we're thinking physically and we got limitations. Because he says when we respond to fear from our head, our ego wants to protect us. That's why I started laughing. Because that reminded me of someone that I know. And your ego is the worst thing. Donna, do you know anybody that's attracted to anybody and likes to be around because they got a big ego?
I know a couple people,
Yeah.
right?
There's some people that will, be attracted to movie stars or someone like that has a huge ego. Well, I'll accept that because they're a star. But the average person, if you're an average person like we are, if you got an ego, people are not going to be attracted to you.
Right.
They're really not. And that is probably the biggest thing that derails us and shortchanges us from all our positive energy and allowing the abundance of love and blessings to come in your life, because everybody wants to be loved and blessed.
Right. And the ego can come in so many different forms.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course it's we all know about the people who talk, Jim, who it's me, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's me. And let me tell you about what I did because me and because I.
Mm-hmm.
Or then there's the ego that it's like they are never wrong. They have the answer for everything that you have ever done, could do, or possibly will do in the future. They know everything.
Oh,
That
don't
is
they?
one healthy bloody ego right there.
And they make you want to throw up, don't they?
Right?
Yeah. I had a person talk about my open heart surgery. Oh yeah, they take the nurse, they pull the heart up out of the body and they turn it over and the nurse holds it in her hands and all that. That's not true. That's not true at all. The only time they'll remove a heart from a body if they're going to do a heart transplant.
Right.
That the nurse will actually maybe pull and tilt it a little bit to allow access to a certain area for the surgeon. That's about it. But I try to tell this individual that doesn't happen. Oh, yes, it does.
Right.
Okay. Well, some people that are just stubborn, you go like, good grief. You don't even want to be around them.
Right. They always have to one up you, always have to be right.
Yeah. And that's where you ask yourself that question. So what if you try to explain it to them? they're not going to get it. So they're not worth it, right?
Nope, just let it go.
Drive on. Love them enough to let them go, you know?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I tell you right now, goodness, we're already at the 50-minute mark. We got to cut this thing down here.
I know it. I know.
Hmm.
Okay, here we go.
I'm
He's
gonna read
so
Albert Einstein's the quote here right
Oh,
quick.
please do.
Common sense is nothing more than a deposit of prejudices laid down in the mind before you reach 18.
Boy,
Oh my,
that one's heavy.
yeah.
It really is because we do form so many of our prejudices and
Hmm.
early in life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was thinking about this when we were getting ready to do the show,
Mm.
and I think one of the best ways for me to describe the energy about fear and love
Hmm.
is let's go in your mind and look at a couple of small children, right?
Uh-huh.
They're playing on the playground. They're running around like crazy. They got all that childlike energy
Hmm.
that is just so beautiful. Guess what? They don't have a fear or a care in the world. There's no fear. There's only love and abundance in what they're doing.
Hmm.
And they also will play with other children.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Doesn't matter what color hair they have, what color skin
Nope.
they have. They just want to play and have fun and
Hmm.
enjoy that abundance of love.
Hmm.
That is a perfect, to me, explanation of living in fear or living in love. And when we
Hmm.
get older, somehow along the way, we get that separation, oftentimes,
Hmm.
where we separate the love and the fear.
Hmm. You know, growing up in Carolina, there in my hometown of Shelby, and my first 13 years of my life, we lived on a farm off of Highway 226, and we were just common kids, black and white, and we didn't pay any attention to that. We all
Right,
played together. We played ball together. We did
right,
everything together. Went swimming together. Got in trouble together.
right.
But what's amazing to me, ladies and gentlemen, I went in the Army in 1968. I had never in my life heard the word prejudiced. And they were talking about people in the South are prejudiced, and I'm going like, what does that mean? And then when they explained it to them, I'm going like, I mean, not in my world.
Right.
And I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I was born in that type and brought up in that type of a world, because that was a blessing. Because
Right.
being prejudiced and all the negative feelings with that, my gosh, that's as bad as having cancer in the brain. That's what it is.
Mhm.
It's like a cancer in your brain. I mean, cancer in the brain is not good.
Right.
And prejudice is a non-physical cancer in your brain. That's the way I look at it. And I hope and pray that if you suffer from that, love yourself enough to admit it, let it go, and most importantly, forgive yourself for anything that you've done or said that could be harmful or hurtful to others. Because they can't help that. I mean, that's just who they are. Love them and accept them who they are. Because everybody's got gifts, everybody's got traits, and everybody's got, and there's some things that some people have that you don't.
Right.
It may be, my case is people's got brains or more intelligent than I am. They got better looks. And the only thing I wound up with was a dynamic charm and personality. I'm trying to get her to laugh. I hadn't made her snort.
I know he hasn't made me snort in months, folks, and he's trying.
She's always on guard with me, folks. But that's the thing about it. When you have good friends and family that love you, and you're surrounded by the love and the care and the harmony of a
Right.
relationship. Because Donna and I, we visit a lot on the phone, and it's just we feel the energy when it just vibrates back and forth. Phone gets so hot, I have to set it down, use my earplugs.
And it's funny because the energy that we have is not
Mhm.
just based on our business as
Mm-mm.
partners. It isn't. I mean, it'll be like, and Jim can cook a few things. He'll admit it, but not a whole lot. His repertoire of that is pretty small, pretty
Mhm.
defined.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there and say, "Gosh, Jim, I just made up a new recipe the other day."
Yeah, she did say that today, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact. Yeah.
yeah, I made a new pasta recipe, and it was amazing.
And I'll tell you right now, you put a manual can opener in my hand. There's people come from miles around watching me open the can.
Woo!
Yeah.
He can
Yeah, I
get
tell you.
down and dirty with that can opener.
I mean, I can get with the program. It's like when I was playing golf. I still play golf, but when I was playing regular on tournaments and stuff like that, owned for charity now, nothing big or anything like that. But anyway, I was over there one day and I was joking around there at the golf course. I said, people actually come out here and film me and show others, what they learned about me when I'm out here on the golf course. This one guy says, "Wow, really, Jim?" I said, "Yeah." They show that to people and said, "This is what you do not do."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I
Well,
tell
Jim,
you,
unfortunately, we are out of time.
mm,
I know.
each time, and we got so much to cover. And again, Mr. Bill Heinrich will be with us on Friday, a personal friend of ours. Again, we endorse Mr. Bill Heinrich. We encourage you to get in touch with him at, True Life Purpose Now, truelifepurposenow.com, and just say, "I heard on the TV show." He'll know who you're talking about. You'll give me a free 30-minute, a complimentary 30-minute consultation. He will do it, no strings attached.
Right.
Same with Donna. High energy right now at gmail.com. She will give you a complimentary 30-minute, consultation, no strings attached.
Absolutely.
Mm.
But we
Man.
are bringing more back of this tomorrow, Jim.
Oh, yeah. We sure are. Because there's so much in this book, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to be able to cover all of it, but we wanted to give you a
Synopsis.
good depth and a good look
Right.
of how deep this thing goes. But it's written in such everyday English.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about Bill. He has that ability to communicate at the grassroots level.
Right.
And we're so glad that we had the opportunity to share another portion of the 7 levels of truth with you today. And we're going to continue on tomorrow's show with Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, we got Mr. Bill here. We're going to do the point and shoot game. I'm excited about that.
I am too.
Yeah. And he told me, he says, "Jim, don't worry about it. You cannot goof it up." Oh, okay. So that means I can feel pretty good about myself on Friday. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. It's going to be fun, too.
It will be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone. And on behalf of Donna and myself, thank you so much for tuning in. And Donna and I, we're very sincere when we say thank you for making our show one of the more popular shows on E360 TV. We really do appreciate it. And there's some great things that we have earned that's coming down the pathway to it for expansion. And we're just humbled that you have raised us to that level. So help us by communicating with us through Inspiration E360 TV, how we can be more of a blessing to you. We're the messengers, and we want to deliver the message that you need to hear.
Absolutely.
Donna, it's been a privilege.
It has been. It has been. Folks, we will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel.
Mm-hmm. Different shirts, right?
Right.
I tease her about that all the time. It's an inside joke.
Oh, all right, folks. Have a beautiful, blessed day wherever you are.
Yeah.
And we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.